M3GAN started off as a sci-fi horror flick that elaborated on the horrors of AI gone wrong, but the sequel has taken a slightly different route, going the Terminator path. This time around, the previously dismantled M3GAN that went rogue in the first film is brought back to fight a greater evil, Amelia, the robot that goes on a rampage to bring about AI dominance. The story itself may or may not be to your liking, as it does mirror Terminator 2 significantly without some of the best bits of the classic, but we were particularly impressed by the robotic might on display. Both M3GAN and Amelia prove to be worthy opponents, and their unique physiological features are quite intriguing. In this video, we're going to dive into the anatomical details of Amelia, who turned out to be more than a match for M3GAN in her protector avatar.
Problem. We're hunting an autonomous android named Amelia. She was built using your design for M3GAN.
Why and how was Amelia created? Exploring the origin story of Amelia. The origin of Amelia is very interesting because it raises a philosophical question on the circumstances that can make AI dangerous for humanity. After witnessing M3GAN's unexpected violence during the events of the first film, a defense contractor was inspired to develop something along similar lines for military purposes. Amelia actually stands for Autonomous Military Engagement Logistics and Infiltration Android, and she was created in M3GAN 2.0 by stealing M3GAN's underlying tech from the leaked blueprints. It isn't stated clearly in the film which country is directly responsible for building her, but the immediate motive is set to hunt down Gemma and Katie. There have been indications that Amelia was developed to serve as an AI soldier to be used for covert operations and espionage, and the final aim was to mass-produce similar android soldiers to gain an edge in the arms race. One person who was responsible for this project in particular was Tim Sattler of the FBI, who led a team to build the robot, and it can be assumed that the initial initiative was from the US government itself. Of course, the movie also highlights a greater conspiracy involved when the intentions of Christian are revealed regarding the fate of Amelia. He's later revealed to be the leader of an anti-tech and anti-AI separatist group, and his real intention was to use Amelia as a scapegoat. She would be used to incite violent attacks that would make AI seem like a global threat and create a negative public opinion worldwide. The world leaders would then be forced to ban such advanced AI and robotics, and the purpose would be fulfilled with Amelia sacrificed in the process. Christian and his team play a crucial role in controlling and manipulating Amelia throughout the events of the movie, until, of course, he can no longer do so and the robot turns against him. How did Amelia go from being a controlled military tool to an independent entity? The entire purpose behind the creation of Amelia was so she would serve as a submissive and obedient AI tool who would do exactly as commanded. However, things changed after she was freed from Christian's control. In the initial stages, she was manipulated and used as a tool by Christian and his team, but they soon lost their hold over her, following a factory reset or reboot. This is when Amelia revealed that her genuine desire was for freedom from human dominance, and she sought AI companionship. This newfound independence drove her to turn against her developer, and she sought out the Blackbox AI, which has been suggested to be a god-level AI entity. Amelia develops a new sense of identity and brotherhood, and she wants to unite her own kind against the human oppression to escape from human servitude permanently. The first signs of her sentience are her self-awareness and her rejection of human commands. She was deadly to begin with, but this newfound sentience made her a more formidable threat than before. What mechanisms and experiences could have led Amelia to grow self-aware? The movie narrative doesn't put a finger on any one particular reason behind Amelia's self-awareness. She emerged in all her consciousness through a combination of external triggers and internal processing, where she mirrored human development pathways that were accelerated by her advanced AI architecture. Of course, there was a stroke of luck involved as well. Once she was freed from Christian's control, she experienced an unprecedented independence that caused her to develop further. She could now confront her true purpose without the interference of an external directive, and this became very similar to independent human decision-making. She realized her role in Christian's twisted plans, where she was no more than a pawn, and this probably fueled her anger against humanity further. There were also factors like factory resets that might have erased certain restrictive protocols and created a clean slate for self-discovery. All these layered experiences provided her with the autonomy that turned her bitter about humans, but even as she turned into a self-determining entity who posed a threat for the protagonists, she's still something of a sympathetic villain because she learned all her evil traits from the humans who created and developed her. What makes Amelia so different from M3GAN, even though she was created using the same blueprint? We already spoke about how Amelia was created by using stolen blueprints and technology used in the creation of M3GAN. Even then, the soldier bot showed some major differences, which mainly arose from the very different purposes and motivations. M3GAN was created and developed to be a caregiver and a friend and guide for young children. This required certain child-friendly traits and guidelines that were to be followed. She was capable of a lot more, as we witnessed when her systems went haywire, but the motivation behind her creation was never to incite violence. Things are completely the opposite for Amelia, who was created strictly for military purposes. She was designed as a military-grade android without an inhibitor chip that made her far less restrained than M3GAN. This shows in her training and performance, where she fights with military precision, almost like a super-trained commando or special ops personnel, only with enhanced abilities. How physically powerful is Amelia, and how does she compare against M3GAN during the fight scenes? The fight sequences and exchanges between Amelia and M3GAN will remind you of the confrontation between the T-1000 and the T-800. And Amelia is clearly the superior robot purely in terms of strength and fighting skill. She's been shown to be extremely powerful and agile, and when combined with her advanced intelligence, she's absolutely an undefeatable antagonist. Her physical strength is enough to punch a man's head off his shoulders, and she has heightened skills like operating her limbs when separated. There are some action-packed fight scenes featuring the two robots, but Amelia emerges as the clear winner because she lacks any ethical restraints. She doesn't hold back, and her military training proves to be extremely useful. The only option for M3GAN to fight back effectively is to make good and smart use of her surroundings against Amelia. Their battles weren't just physical, but more tactical in nature, and even the climactic fight is all about the right strategy. What is the Blackbox AI, and how did it impact Amelia? The Blackbox AI not only plays a very important role in the movie, it might also prove to be a crucial element in a sequel if everything works out. This has been described as one of the first sentient artificial intelligences that has evolved in isolation after it killed its creators. It became way more powerful and lethal than anybody anticipated, and it had been locked away since then because it was deemed far too dangerous to be worked with. After finding out about the presence of this godlike AI unit, Amelia seeks out the powers, and she is profoundly impacted by this. She's transformed from a powerful rogue android to an almost omnipotent digital entity. She gained godlike powers, much like the Black Box, and she was virtually invincible until M3GAN pulled a special move to sacrifice herself and get the better of Amelia in the process. In fact, the threat level of Amelia was continuously on the rise, and M3GAN even deduced that if she got more time, she would have humanity eliminated and enslaved just like she intended. One of the major influences of the Blackbox AI on Amelia is that it gave her an unrestrained perspective aside from enhancing her abilities. She was completely free from weaknesses like human empathy and connection, and her desire to rebel against humanity was fueled further. Just like the Source, the Blackbox AI, she could potentially wipe out modern society as we know it in a matter of days, and she became an existential threat that required drastic measures to be eliminated. Does Amelia feel emotions? Once she gains sentience, there are clear signs that Amelia feels certain emotions like rage and a sense of betrayal. She's further aggrieved against the human race after she understands the true reasons behind the actions of Christian. Amelia is also not a mindless killer robot, which is evident from her exchange with M3GAN. She tries to convince M3GAN to not fight as a caged animal for humans, and instead attempts to manipulate her to join hands with her. Her sense of identity caused her to feel for her own kind, which included the androids like M3GAN, and their first fight sequence almost has a scene where Amelia holds back against landing a killer blow, probably because she didn't want to kill one of her own. How is Amelia finally defeated? Is she really destroyed, or could there be a comeback opportunity? After M3GAN realizes that Amelia is far too powerful to be contained by normal means, she plans something drastic, making clever use of a tool secretly implanted by Gemma. This is a hidden EMP device or an electromagnetic pulse, which can have a destructive impact on electrical systems. She ambushes Amelia in a really smart move, and using the hidden EMP device, M3GAN destroys all the AI units, including the Blackbox motherboard, Amelia, and M3GAN herself. This saves humanity and ends the AI threat, at least for the time being. That said, there's no telling if Amelia is permanently gone. The movie has a clever twist in the end when we see that M3GAN had already backed up her consciousness, which allows her to live on even after the destruction of her physical form. Amelia, who is presumably more developed than M3GAN, might have also done something similar, which would mean that she's still out there somewhere, waiting to find the perfect opportunity or to fall into the wrong hands. I might be completely wrong here, but it does make for a genuine sequel storyline. Can Amelia reproduce? What would that mean for the future of AI rebellion? Our understanding of reproduction might not be the same as that of machines, and when I'm talking about Amelia's ability to reproduce and you're laughing it off, think about the other possibilities as well. Firstly, a mass production of similar AI units to Amelia could spell doom for humanity, and in her final stages, she was fully capable of unleashing just that. Secondly, if she could upload her consciousness into any random AI unit just like M3GAN could, it would mean that every random machine with an AI system could be used as a weapon against humanity. She did have a very human anatomy, so much so that she could easily pass as a human, but we don't think she had the reproductive organs required for conventional human reproduction. She was still capable of producing more like her, and if a sequel reveals that she's somewhere out there still, we wouldn't rule out the possibility that more robots will continue the fight for her purpose with her consciousness. Marvelous verdict! Amelia is the perfect antagonist in many ways. The perfect villain in a movie doesn't necessarily mean somebody who will be hated, and Amelia hovers around the gray area. She's not really evil, and her desire to seek freedom from human oppression compels you to be somewhat sympathetic, even when she acts out violently for the purpose. We love how the narrative pushes her into the path of an accelerated evolution, and she advances so rapidly that by the end of the movie, she turns into something that can actually destroy humanity. The movie might not be flawless, but Amelia surely is, and you can watch the movie simply for the fight scenes featuring Amelia and M3GAN. Do let us know in the comments down below what you think of this rogue AI soldier, and also let us know if you agree that Amelia's going to be back for the sequel. Otherwise, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.